Hey everybody, Tim here with tonight's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 1, Episode 5, Captive Pursuit. So this is a pretty interesting episode. It's basically, I don't know if like in high school or whatever you guys ever had to read the book The Most Dangerous Game, but it's basically that with O'Brien in it. That just sums it up. I'm done with this video. See you next time. No, I'm kidding. So it starts out pretty interesting. We've talked about with the wormhole sending people through and kind of getting this little beginnings of a map of the Gamma Quadrant. So now we finally have an alien coming through towards us. And like everybody's super excited because they're like, oh, what is this? And he doesn't seem like he's not unintelligent, but he doesn't really know how to interact. All he kept saying is like, I am Tosk. And O'Brien even says like, is that your name or is that your species? And he's just like, I'm Tosk. And O'Brien was like, okay, well, I'm O'Brien. And so they kind of start to build not necessarily a friendship, but at least some kind of relationship. It's the building blocks. O'Brien works with him, trying to get his shuttle back together and all sorts of stuff. And we slowly start to get the sense that things are not as they seem. Which, this is Star Trek. This is the dark Star Trek. So it makes sense. Like, we see Tosk trying to look up the map of Deep Space Nine. He starts asking the computer, like, well, where are the weapons kept? Stuff like that. Odo does his shape-shifting thing to kind of spy on Tosk, and we slowly start realizing that he's not like this innocent explorer bystander that we think he is. And right as we start to get to that point, hunters come through after him, and we realize that Tosk has been bred to be hunted, and that it's just a game to the species, and they have these specific beings that they breed and they raise just to send them out in the wild and hunt them, which is, like, I compared it to the book, The Most Dangerous Game, or there's tons of movies out there as well. And now it becomes this kind of moral dilemma where, like, O'Brien's been working with this guy and he wants to save him, but according to the Prime Directive, like, this is how their civilization does things. This is their culture, and we can't really intervene, even though Tosk is a sentient being. So O'Brien tries to, like, give it, like, the diplomatic point of view, and if he asks for asylum, can we save him? And O'Brien, or Commander Sisko is like, well, yeah, okay, if he asks for asylum, then we are obligated to help him. But as of right now, we can't just protect him. We have to give him back to these hunters. O'Brien doesn't accept that, and he kind of just throws a wrench in everything, sends the hunters off, and then gives Tosk this chance to go away, because Tosk won't ask for asylum, because this is the only life that Tosk has known, so it kind of makes sense. By the end of the episode, Tosk goes off, and we hope for the best for him, and O'Brien has kind of had an understanding with Sisko about just how they do things and just what Sisko's expectations are for O'Brien, because it's kind of a weird thing. It's a weird relationship, and Sisko, just as a commander in general, he's difficult to read. Sometimes he's like overly laughing, and then, like I mentioned in, what was it, the pilot or something, where he like says to Kira that he'll have her head on a platter. So Sisko's difficult to read, and he just lays into O'Brien about how he broke all these rules, and then O'Brien kind of points out that Sisko helped him, and then he's like, okay, you're dismissed. So it's an interesting relationship that we see developing, and we're still super early into the series, so we'll kind of see this relationship develop over time as well. So for those who have seen this episode, did you guys get the Most Dangerous Game reference, or did I read too much into it, or is that overly obvious? So go ahead, let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think about the show so far? We're 5 episodes in at this point. Thank you guys for everything. I appreciate all of your comments and all of you guys messaging me and reaching out to me. It makes me super happy to know that you guys are interested in this. I mean, when I first started with the original series, I didn't think anybody would care. When I did Next Generation, I was like, okay, that'll be the end of it. But I had more of you telling me to do Deep Space Nine and Voyager than actually commented on the Next Generation. So I'm super excited to see all of the comments that you guys have to say, especially because I don't really know anything about Deep Space Nine. I've seen it one time and that's it. So all of this is pretty new to me. So thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys for the next episode, Q-less.